Hey everybody, my name is Tay. Um, I am a son, a brother, a cousin, a friend, an acquaintance, a servant, resilience coach, and former grad student. Former meaning I was in the past and I'm no longer such a thing. And welcome to Tay in Wonderland, and I'll say that this title will be Surviving 2024. I really want to continue on with the series of Tay in Wonderland, but I also want to do something very specific to 2024. Going into this year, I was very drained. Like, I don't know, a few days before the new year, I just felt like my spirit left my body. Like, I depleted every ounce of my being. In 2023, I felt like my cup was dry, like dry to the point that cobwebs started growing in it. And I really came into this year, I wouldn't even say crawling, like I got drugged into the year. And as I was reflecting on that, like, why do I feel this way? Why is it that going into the new year, I haven't had like a really enjoyable experience in such a long time? I was trying to look back, and maybe it's the innocence of getting, or the lack of innocence of getting older. Like, more, so you have more things to worry about or stress about, and a new year doesn't signify a new chapter. A new year just signifies another year of bullshit. Those things. I was reflecting, like, to the depths, trying to really understand like what was going on. To the point, like, before, I want to say like months ago, I booked the trip to New York City around this time because I was like, well, maybe if I spend New Year's Day or New Year's Eve in New York City, that I would magically have all of this energy and be so excited, and the fast pace of New York would allow me, or I wouldn't have the allotted time to sit in my thoughts, sit in my reality. The fast pace of New York City would keep me going and keep me intrigued and wow and amaze me, even though I've been there once before. But I just thought, that was going to happen, and some things happen in life, unfortunately, and I was not able to take this trip, so I was at home, and I think that was an added layer to it. But at the same time, it just let me, I think life was kind of like, you can't escape this reality. You can't escape what you need to do. And what you need to do is to sit with yourself, reflect. You need to look inside yourself. You need to nurture some wounds. You need to take some time for yourself. You need to really see you holistically seeing yourself, like the spiritual version of yourself, the emotional, the mental, see all of those things, reflect on all of those things, and assess. You need to assess and analyze. And so as I was sitting here, I just, surviving 2024. This name is so hilarious to me. Surviving 2024. I think that it's hilarious because as I was looking back on 2023, I think a lot of the things I did or pursued, I was pursuing them based off of validation. Like, I wanted somebody to see me, choose me, want me, love me, praise me, me. Like, that's not how the world works. But yes, I wanted these things. I wanted to be validated. I wanted to be celebrated. I wanted to make people around me proud. I wanted them to just be amazed and be like, you're on the right path. You're doing the right thing. You're so accomplished. You're intelligent. Like, wow, this is just, because I spent a lot of, from high school to now, hearing the words like, you're going to accomplish great things. Like, you are somebody. You're gonna do amazing things. Like, just push through and continue being who you are, and continue, speaking your mind, continue spreading your truth, your story, all of these things. I continue to hear it. So I did those things. And I never saw any reward. I didn't get led into any rooms. I didn't get to expand my network. I didn't get really acknowledged. I didn't get any monetary benefit from this, but people constantly told me these things. I didn't see any professional development in myself. When it came to my professional life, I didn't see any personal development in myself, or little. I will say in 2023, I grew in awareness for myself. I grew in talking less and being more observant of my environment, my surroundings, the people that are around me. I took on this phrase, reassess and reapproach. And yes, reassess and reapproach was the phrase I took on in 2023. And I constantly told myself, if it doesn't work, reassess, reapproach. Because people are telling you these things, you can't see it yet because you're still like somewhere in the beginning or in the middle of the tunnel. The light isn't just there. And I'm in a place now where, in 2024, I will be 27. In 2021, 2022, 2022, I moved back home. And because I wanted to make some changes to where I was going professionally. I didn't want to be in a school setting anymore. I wanted to go to grad school. I wanted to be closer to my family. I thought those were the things that I needed. I thought that's what my soul was telling me. Like, you need your family. You need to take this next step. But I made all these adjustments and nothing changed. My spirit, like the core to my spirit, was still kind of being depleted. And it just, I didn't get any of the growth, any of the aha, or any of the moments that people talk about, like when you start a new path that's refreshing for you and that's centered in your growth, that's centered in you and that's meant for you. I didn't feel any of these things. And so maybe the feeling in itself, maybe I'm delusional for thinking I'm supposed to just feel great about everything, but I felt like I was still on a path of doing things that I felt would bring me that validation, would bring me that attention, would bring me that praise, would have people say, you know what, I'm so proud of you and I see you and you keep winning and you're doing so much and you're accomplished. And, it's sad, but still at 26, almost 27 years old, I still seek those things because as a human, we only have so many things that we can do in life. You don't have tons of time, but the two things that are for sure, you're going to be a relative, a friend. You're going to have those relationships, and you're going to have that career. And you're going to want to strive to be accomplished in that career, be seen, be at the top. And, so sadly, little me was like, I wanted to start making those advancements professionally. I wanted to start centering myself as a key stakeholder, as a key person that people can go to and ask questions and be, able to rely on and bring to the table when it was time to, plan or conceptualize something new. But as I started to go down that process, like, I became so drained. And as I reflected or looked back on that, like all of these decisions I made, the current path that I was going down, it just kind of felt like it wasn't for me anymore. And I know, 27, you need to have your shit figured out or close to. But I don't. I think a lot of it is, I didn't come from the environment wise, like big picture environment. I didn't come from the most stable environment. Um, you know, the stability was never something that I was able to become comfortable in. I was always um I grew to be comfortable in pivoting to new schools, pivoting to new this, new that. It was change. Change is happening. You got to just be quick on your feet, because if you're not changing when life is changing, baby, you're gonna get left behind. Where you at? Where you to? Pick them up. Left, right, left, right. You got to move. And so I think that in a sense, like, I go through a door, I'm in there, it's not working, boom, leave. But I think in this past year, it was like I opened that door, and I really want to hold myself down, hold myself accountable to sit there, because the comfort is on the other side of the uncomfort, right? So you got to explore the room. You really got to get off in there, do all the dirty work, and get past all of that, the crap, to get to the part where you're comfortable, the part where those things that I mentioned, the attention, validation, the being brought to the table, the acknowledgement, all of those things. Like, once you push past the uncomfortable, like, that's where you're at. But I wasn't. I wasn't. I was insane for thinking that that's how it was going to happen, and I should have just listened to myself. I should follow my intuition, but I was like, you know what? How accurate can my intuition be? And maybe I have to trust it. Maybe I have to trust my intuition, or maybe I have to go against my intuition to test, to analyze it. Because, how do we analyze our intuition? Sometimes you just have to go against the grain at times. Like, your intuition is telling you one thing, and I really don't know. Like, I could trust you, and you can be totally wrong, or I can go against you and see if you're wrong. And then I'll know, like, sometimes I need to go against those thoughts. But I went against my intuition, and sadly, my intuition was right. And not even sadly, intuition is a very real thing. At least I feel. I'm very spiritual. I'm not the most religious person. I know a lot more about religion than I would say people would think. And I know a lot more about religion than a lot of people that would say they're religious. But when it comes to your intuition, I feel like that was a gift that was placed upon you. Like, our intuition, our ability, discernment for the religious people, that thought that's there, that voice that's there, that's telling you, think bigger, or we need to turn back around and go back where we came from, and go back to the drawing board. That thing, I feel like that's a gift. Like, that's our survival. That's an innate trait that we were born with, and that has been passed down for thousands and millions of years since humans have evolved. That has contributed to our survival. that discernment, that intuition, it's our survival skills. And speaking of survival, I think that was just another thing. Like, I've been in a very high mode of, I have to survive. I have to survive. I have to survive. I have to survive. Financially, I was just surviving. Where I'm at now, I'm just surviving. And I've been having to just survive for the longest, like, making do with what we have, making do with what I have, making do with the available tools and resources around me. Like, I've had to do that for so long. I think I have the experience. I think my toolkit is full. I think that there was a level of confidence that I had in myself that was untapped, that I really did look and see. Like, you had all of these role models around you. I would say my biggest role model, it's what I always, when I wrote my grad school letter of intent, I wrote about, my mom, and how I grew up in a single parent home. Um, for 10 years, it was just me and my mom, or just about 10 years, it was me and my mom. And I remember being a kid, and I understood, but I really didn't understand some things until I got older. But my mom was like a freaking, not literally, my mom was like a freaking, a soldier. Like, she was in the Air Force, but I want to say, like, my mom came from a family of 9 other siblings, a very country small town. And so my mom had to fight. My mom had to use everything around her. My mom had to be very resourceful in how she was going to get out of that environment and how she was going to create a life for herself. Um, and I think when it comes to, me wanting to pivot, me wanting to change my mind, me trying to figure out, what exactly is there for me, that confidence of being able to say, I know I'm going to make it to the next step. I just have to trust in myself and my ability. I think a lot of those things came from my mom, because my mom is a very strong woman. And I know people hate that whole thing because, people have that idea that black women are supposed to be strong. And it's not because of that. I just know my mom is strong because of what I've witnessed. Like, there were a lot of things my mom went through in my childhood that I was like, you know what? Looking back now, like, I would have crumbled. I was talking to my mom the other day about something. I think when I had COVID, and how I was like, I was breaking down because I'm like, I'm over here sick by myself, 18 hours away from home, and I have this dog that I'm taking care of, and my body is just shut down. I don't have energy. Everything hurts. I feel like I'm dying, and I still have these responsibilities. I got to feed myself, feed my dog, got to take him walking, do all of these things for him, clean up after him. And I was like, I don't know how you did it. And my mom was talking to me about it, and she was like, you just have to do it. I mean, it's got to get done, and it's going to have to get done by you. Nobody else is going to do it. So you just have to get up and go. And so things like that, like, always that insight from my mom, like, how were you able to do this? If you could have been anything growing up, what would you have been? And just hearing all of these things about, my mom, like, what she wanted to accomplish when she was my age or younger, and versus, the route she ended up taking and what she's been able to accomplish versus what she wanted to. And just thinking about that, like, I have that confidence. I have the confidence to be able to shoot beyond the picture that people painted of me and of my future. Like, that's them. And I think in a sense, everything that I was chasing was thoughts that everybody else had of me for me. And I wasn't chasing the thoughts I had of myself for myself. I was doing things again for the attention, the validation, the acknowledgement, the being seen as that key stakeholder or that person that needs to be at the table and adding to the conversation. I was doing a lot of things for everybody else to where I lost sight of what the hell do you want? What do you want to do? If I remember at one point in time, I was on an interview, and I'll never forget this question. The lady told me to close my eyes. What does the ideal workday look like for you? And I remember I lied for the interview, but after I finished that interview, I left and sat in my car because I was like, oh wow, like, the real ideal workday that I pictured in my head was very different from what I just shared, and very different from the workday that I'm seeking. And even now, where I'm at now, is very different from everything now. And I know when I closed my eyes and looked at that ideal workday, those jobs, those fields exist. And it was just a matter of me being confident enough to accept that. accept that vision, accept that thought, that dream, the goal that I wanted to set for myself. And I had to find a tap into more of my confidence to say, we need to be able to pivot. We need to look at our skill set. We need to look at where we are now. We start analyzing our skills, analyzing everything, our duties, our responsibilities, what we've accomplished, and how can we kind of tweak this resume to pivot and spin off into that. And so, yeah, I'm at a point now where it's kind of like I wasted all of 2023 like really trying to be acknowledged by everybody, like every single body, people that I've known forever versus people that I just met 2 months ago, you know, and I was pouring into the cups of everybody, but who was really, pouring into my cup, who saw me for me. I know that was like one of the most baffling and wowing moments for me as well. I want to say before I went on Christmas break, my supervisor, like big boss, she saw me and she was like, "You don't look like yourself." And I laughed and I told her, "What do you mean?" She was like, "You're light. You normally are very bright and you have this radiant energy about yourself and it's not there." And she was like, that was very concerning for me. And she was like, "I just wanted to see what was going on." And we kind of talked for a minute. And I think that was a very big moment for me because somebody finally saw, so for the people who get it, like you're going to get it. Like somebody finally seeing you, not seeing you physically, not your physical self, but somebody finally seeing you, like a holistic version of you, and being like, you light low. You look like you're hanging on by a thread. What's going on? Like, somebody finally seeing that deeper version of you. That was so important for me. And I think that's where everything kind of started. Like I'll say, it was around December 20th or the 21st, one of those dates, where that conversation happened. And I want to say that's where everything kind of started to free fall for me. And I kind of started to think, because it took an entire year and longer, because I want to say 2022 was no better, 2021 was no better, and 2020 really wasn't any better. It took years for somebody to be like, I see you. Your light kind of flickering, and you look drained. Your soul looks tired. Your spirit is not balanced and aligned. Like you need an inspection. You need some adjustments. And so I took that time this time, I should say, to reflect on those things and reassess and strategize of how I was going to reapproach. And so, yeah, I think it's a lot of changes that I need to make. Of course, speaking less, listening more, but adding more, like when I know, like the confidence piece, when I know I have something of value to add to the conversation, I add it to the conversation. But I also think I became very tired being reactive. Like I would see things and hear things and find things out, and it would just take something out of me to react, to be like, oh, we got to adjust this, or we got to address that, or we got to fix this, or yada, yada. Being reactive is so tiring. That is your energy. The reaction that you give to people, things, it's you. Like you're leaving a big piece of yourself. The energy that you allow to leave your body to acknowledge those things, like you're adding fuel to them. and you're taking away fuel from yourself. I think a lot of my energy went towards being reactive. And I had to learn, or I'm having to learn how to control my emotions. I'm having to hear and see things that I don't agree with and just being like, and making adjustments. Because I don't have to be exposed to things that I don't like or things that take away that energy from me. You know, I'm a very empathetic and, again, intuitive person, and I would consider myself a healing person when it comes to my energy, my nature. I would say that I'm very protective. You know, I'm servant leader, like, to the core. But you have to be smart. Like, you can become overwhelmed, or you can drown yourself trying to do everything or protect everyone. And sometimes you just have to look at something, especially on social media, and be like, I don't like this block. And it's not even about the person. It's just like the energy that you just share. You tried to commit spiritual warfare by sharing this on my timeline. Blocked, erased, muted. You know, and it's not about a person. I saw this earlier. It's not, you know, when I unfollow you, if I block you, whatever the case may be, it's not about you. It's about me. It's really about me. It has nothing to do with you, because that would suggest that I was just scrolling down your page and looking for everything and trying to get triggered. No, I was scrolling down my page. I saw something, block, mute, whatever the case may be, and I kept it going. I didn't think twice of it. I didn't even look to really see who the person was. It's just, you know, that energy. If I have to brace myself because it's going to be like trigger warning type of content being shared, I don't want that. I don't want that in my space. It's disrupting my peace. Like, you know, I'm turning into one of those people now. Like, I want to get on social media and see those warm embraces of family. Like, you know, my brother just came back home. I'm seeing my brother for the first time in 4 years type shit. Or watch this dog see one of his litter mates after 5 years. You know? Or look at this deer and this fox playing together. Things like that. Like, that is what I want to see. And landscape videos, like landscapes. I want to see mountains and trees and flowers and animals and all those things. Like, baby, I don't want to get on here and see people fighting. I don't want to get on here and see people arguing about, you know, LGBTQ people and whether they should be able to exist in public or not. Baby, that's me. I'm on my motherfucking business. So why are y'all out here trying to debate on whether or not I should be able to live my life outly as myself? You know? It's a bad influence to kids. I get tired of seeing I have to really, like, the reactive side of me, like, I was reacting so much because I was tired of seeing it and I didn't know. I was thinking, you know, somebody has to say something. We can't let them get away, baby. You got like 800, 900 quote tweets and 300 comments down there of people dragging your ass. I do not need to add to that because you're not even going to see it. So, again, giving my energy away, pouring out of my cup, and I'm getting nothing in return when I could just block or mute and keep it moving. Those gossip pages, all of that stuff, I've been blocking those since last year. But it's like, dang, how many of y'all really want a career being a gossip blogger? Do y'all really get paid like that? I really want to know. And you know what? We're going to pivot a little bit off the conversation. I really want to know, how do people sleep and how do people mentally and emotionally function doing that for a career? Are you financially happy? Like, what do you have to do something else to supplement yourself? Maybe you're a freelance editor or a freelance writer or something, content creator. I don't know, but how are y'all paying bills? And is it a way that I can do what they do, but on a positive end? Like, I don't want to write the negative things like, oh, So and so's house is going on foreclosure, or so and so has just been arrested for drug possession. I don't want to do that. I want to do, oh, well, Lil Nas X has donated $500,000 to the Toys for Tots, or the Olivia Rodrigo just put on a charity performance and was able to donate $800,000 to so and so and so and so, and Taraji P Henson just won this award, or Taraji P Henson has just inked the deal for $25 million. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Like if y'all making money doing a negative, I wonder if I can make money doing a positive. But anyway, back to the topic. Yeah, I just had to start being really selective with what I was letting into my spaces. And that's another thing people don't understand. Like your social media should be another safe space. That's an extension. People always say, when people say social media is not real, yes, it is. Social media is an extension of these people. The things you share, the things you interact with, the people you follow, that's an extension of yourself. To some extent, like this is you. The stuff you engage with is you. The crazy shit that people say is them. That's their thoughts. That's how they think. That's what they feel. That's what they believe. That's what they lead to be true. And we got to stop this whole social media isn't real thing. Yes, it is. Social media influences and impacts real life on a daily basis. And so we have to stop writing it off as this fake thing or this mystical, like mysterious thing, because it's not any of those things. It's real. People, like, these people are living their lives and tweeting these things and sharing these stories and saying all of this stuff and having these egregious remarks. That's them. And we have to stop giving the people a pass. Like, no. And I'm not going to say my past social media experience or presence has been the most polished. Y'all heard me say I was reactive. I was reacting to everything. I was reacting to everything. I'll go to war. And sure would. I would go to war for it. And I was going to war. And I have to also reflect in that sense, like, the people that know me, the people that have met me, the people who I've, built relationships with, they don't deserve to see that on their social media feed either. Me arguing with somebody, me going back and forth, just, baby, they was probably sick and tired too. So to some extent, it was just kind of like, I gotta respect my place, respect the peace that I'm trying to build for myself and maintain, and I also gotta respect the peace and everything that this person is building for themselves too, or these people are building for themselves. And so, yeah, it's just a lot of reflecting, and I want to say, take as much of 2024. A lot of people think that, I'm going to reflect and have this strong formulated plan by January 1st and it's going to go into action. No, I think all of January is just January in itself is a month of reflections. The entirety of January, you should be reflecting on every aspect of your life, everything, your processes, daily processes. Does this work? Does this nurture me? Does this feed my energy? Does this pour back into my cup? Is this taking away from my cup? And really be honest with yourself. Is this taking more out of my cup than I can replenish? And be honest. Be honest with yourself about that. If something is taking more energy than you can add back into yourself, that's not a value. So maybe chop. It's a chop. She's not clearing anybody. She's a chop. Next aspect. of me, and keep it moving. But really take the entire month of January and look at these things. Look at yourself holistically. Make a list. Where do all of these things that make up you fit on your holistic, picture? Where does it add value at? Where does it and make a list of things that take away energy versus the things that add energy to yourself. Adding energy to yourself can be a walk, playing with a pet, hanging out with friends, being creative, charity, like charity work, not just donating to charity, baby, but charity, actual work, because these people don't just need money. They need hands sometimes. They need people that are going to give back time. And so all of these things that, sitting in the sun, going to the beach, enjoying the water, all of these things add into you, but make a list. And sometimes you have to tell yourself, like, I need to do more to pour back into myself. And that's what I realized when I was looking at I didn't even finish the list because I just realized, like, dang, I'm finna be overwhelmed, and this is why my cup was so dry, and I didn't have no energy for the rest of December, because I was pouring, and the few things that I was doing to pour back into myself weren't able to pour back into me fully, or I wasn't engaging in those things enough to pour back into myself completely. And again, diversify the list, add more things to it, figure out what's some other things that you can do so you're not getting used to and burning out the things that you find joy in. Those things you find joy in, if you do them too much, you can start getting bored with them. And you're like, this feels like the same old. Versus, sometimes you diversify the list, diversify your bonds, diversify the things that add value back into yourself, and give yourself options. And make those options fun. Make how you go about choosing those things fun. If you gotta write everything down on some popsicle sticks and draw from a cup or jar every week or every other week to figure out what you're gonna do, then do that. And that's how you just gonna pick. But yeah, like, reflect. Use the entirety of January to reflect on yourself and reassess and be truthful, and try to go into that reflection unbiased. Don't take any outside opinions or outside views of yourself into your reflection. Try to stay centered in you, what yourself, your soul, your mind, spirit, and body are telling you. Don't try to make decisions based off of, people, they were so excited for me to do this, or people love when I do X, Y, and Z, or, this is what has been giving me the most attention. All attention ain't good attention, baby. All attention ain't good attention. And a lot of people, what I've witnessed, a lot of people will celebrate you. A lot of people will acknowledge you. A lot of people will applaud and say the most amazing words to you. And then 2 seconds later, they're going on, they forgot they moved the hell on. Those people were just telling you that because, honestly, sometimes people just say shit. Yeah, I'll say it. People just say things. And you can't invest your thoughts into what people tell you about you. You can acknowledge and be like, you know what? I'm so appreciative. Let it pour into your cup, but don't take it to the heart. Don't take it to the mind. Don't overprocess it. Don't sit with it for too long. Add it back into your cup and keep it moving. But don't become consumed or obsessed with what other people have told you, and use that sacred space, that sacred time, to look at yourself holistically and be unbiased without those people in the room with you, without those comments, without, all of these wonderful things that people have told you. Kick that mess out the room and just sit with yourself. But yeah, surviving 2024. This is so insane. Because it's honestly, it's crazy. We just celebrated my sister's 17th birthday. And I was talking to a friend the other day, and I told her, I said, what's the craziest thing about this? It feels like yesterday I was 18. Like, I remember being her age. I could pretty much tell you, like, in detail what I did a day of my life when I was 18. What I did a day of my life when I was 17 too. Because it feels like yesterday. And it's kind of like time has been flying by. And I've just been going through the motions. I haven't, I was living to die and not living to live. I wasn't living for the experience. I wasn't living to have memories, like actual memories of things that I was like, you know what, I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life. This was so freaking cool. I wasn't having those experiences. I was stuck on trying to check off accomplishments and survive and pivot and constantly stay ahead of the idea and the boundaries and the goals that I set for myself. That's what I was doing. And it wasn't working for me. It wasn't working for me. And to hell with it. To hell with it. It wasn't godly. I would say that it wasn't of God. It wasn't of a higher power. It wasn't in alignment with what my ancestors and my spirit guides wanted for me. All of it. It wasn't in alignment. It wasn't the vision. It wasn't of them. Like, this was completely me going down a journey, and then like, well, we gonna wait right here because I'm not going there with you because that's not what we had planned. That's not on the map. You didn't V-line for something different, and I can't help you. But best wishes. And that's what everything has felt like. So yeah, it's really is going to be surviving 2024. And trying to figure out how I get out of that survival, how I climb out of survival and into thriving. I'm watching everything and I'm sitting here looking at people like, babe, you're traveling the world and telling us on a vlog that, yeah, I have $600 in my savings account. And my checking account, I only have $550. No, my parents and family, friends, nobody is funding this. I'm funding this by myself. And I'm just trying to live life because with everything chaotic going on in the world, I wanted to say that I lived. And I get so amazed by things like that because I know people like people I personally crossed paths with, shared space with, talked to, vented with. Like, I know people like that are doing those things. And I'm like, to live life recklessly. And it's not reckless. We form this thought that people who are living life, gaining these experiences, diversifying their cultural comprehension, diversifying their experience, gaining insight and seeking constant beauty and taking in the amazing things of Earth in its entirety. Like, we say that they're living life recklessly when they're living life to live life, how life was, intended to live. As humans, I don't think we're supposed to be nomadic. I think we're supposed to constantly be on the go, baby. We need to go. Go, 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 go. And yeah, like, and not necessarily saying I want the same things as those people, but I want to be able to say, I've seen things in life. I've seen things outside of the United States. I've seen things outside of the Western Hemisphere. Right? We're in the Western Hemisphere. Yeah, they call us the West for a reason. We the wicked witches of the West. But yeah, I want to be able to say I've seen things and lived and had these amazing experiences. And, I took trains throughout Europe and saw Spain, France, Italy, and so on and so forth. And I want that to be me. I want to go to Africa, to any country in Africa, maybe Tanzania or something, and I want to take care of the elephants and the rhinos on the reserves, wildlife reserves, and protect them and nurture them when they get sick. And, I want to do things like that. I want to be able to say I live life. And I cultivated experiences that constantly poured into my cup and added value, and that I can take into my grown adult age, because I'm a young adult, but into my adult age, and tell people that are my age now, like when I'm older, these are the experiences you need to have. This is what's going to craft and mold and sculpt you the best. This is what's going to help you feel fulfilled, and give you the time to sit with yourself and learn yourself. That's another thing, learning yourself. For so long, I was learning how to be accepted in education. K through 12 is you learning acceptability politics or respectability politics. I said acceptability, but same thing, either or. We can say both. K through 12, that's what that is. College was you learning how to take those baselines and develop them, enhance them, and how you learn to be respectable and acceptable in a professional setting. I'm sick of that. I used to get called beautiful, but now I'm just me. Like that's a quote I saw the other day. I used to get called beautiful, but now I'm just me. Like, I used to get told that, you're this amazing young man and you're very intelligent and your words are so witty and yada, 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 this, that, and the third, and you're going to do great things, all this bull crap. I used to get told all of those things. Now I just choose to be myself. Whether you accept it, don't accept it, you think that I'm wasting my life, wasting my time, whatever the case may be, I don't care. Because you're, quite frankly, and what I realized, everybody that told me those things, I would not trade shoes with. Financially, yes, but holistically, no. There is nothing in your holistic life outside of finances that I would be like, you know what, I'll trade places with you. These people had no real joy. They had no real passion, like burning passion. They had no, like, what is your dreams? Like, what are your goals? Like, what have you been accomplishing that, with the young child, you look at you now and be like, you've accomplished that dream and that goal that, when I was like, I wanted to go save so-and-so and so-and-so. Like, have you done that? No. So holistically, you are not the person I want to be. So I'm not going, your words are vetoed. The door is closed on that. Y'all are outside. For real. Pour it into my cup and leave. But yeah, no, I'm tired. I don't want to be this puzzle piece that y'all are trying to carve and shape and mend to fit into this specific space. I don't want to fit into your spaces. Babe, I grew up as a gay black male, very much gay and black the entirety of my life. Like, I was clockable. There was no closeted experiences. I'm sorry. I've never fit into a space. I've always had to find space for myself. I always had to cultivate experiences for myself. I always had to look out for myself. I always had to learn how to protect myself. I always had to figure out how to survive for myself, how to thrive for myself. Like, all of these things I was doing for myself. I had to create community for myself, right? I had to create and shape experiences for myself. Like, people weren't there helping me with that. They weren't helping me with that. I was doing that for me. And so I think, I need to get back to that. A lot of us need to get back to that. Like, get out of the way. We need to get people and earthly beings and things out of our way and really look at ourselves in the mirror. Like, everything else is blocking the mirror. Move all that crap out the way. Throw it in the trash. Flush it down the toilet. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, what's going to make me happy? What's going to let me switch out of this survival mode and into a thriving mode? And what's going to help me feel fulfilled and what's going to pour into me holistically and shape my holistic experience. I hope you all have enjoyed this second edition to Tay in Wonderland Surviving 2024. I hope you come back for the next post. Like this. If you got to the end, add a comment. What's your takeaways? Share something for me. Maybe I missed something, or maybe something resonated deeply with you. I want the comments to really reflect, like, growth, and really, challenge, invoke thought. I want us to think in these comments. I want us to ask questions and share things, and really, push the discussion further. So comment. If you haven't subscribed and you're watching this and you like, dang, something deeply resonated with me, subscribe. I hope you come back. Because it's going to be a lot of this in 2024. Like, we're surviving 2024 with the hope that by the end we're going to be thriving. My name is Tay. Thank you all for listening to my ADHD cluster of thoughts. See you next time.